We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because obviously we have to talk about what is happening in the markets right now. The stock markets are crashing, and now also Bitcoin does not hold anymore. Bitcoin is down to 76,900 and fairly below the levels that we want to see it in the longer run. So the question is, moment of truth for Bitcoin. What are the criteria? What are the deadlines to really call the bull market off here? That is the big question. And what can happen next that could fuel the next rally, the next pump to the upside, versus what could be happening next to really drop us into a deep and long bear market and just to end everything here. So this is what we are going to discuss today. Make sure to stay tuned all the way through. So good morning to each and every one of you. I see some movement here. G-Money, good morning to you, bringing the coffee to the channel. Also Patrick Bultman, good morning. When does the hurting stop? Good question. Most of you, if you're opening the charts right now, all of us, not only you, but us, opening the charts, opening the dashboards, we get a good red light therapy right now. This is probably the infrared waves are the only good thing here. So that is, that is not good, obviously. But first of all, we are going to look at a couple of voices and videos today that give us a little bit of a hint what's coming. But also, let's have this a discussion, and make sure to smash up the like button here right now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Notifications on. I know the times are wild, but we will also see better times. The question is when. Bernard Donaldson says, good morning, PH. Good morning to you. Good to see you. And let's go right into it. So first, obviously, a look as always on Bitcoin. And we see that right now we are under the last chance, but this is the new week, right? This candle is only open since, 5 hours or so, right? So our previous week, even though having gone up all the way to 89,000, has closed above support, okay? So now this week has plenty of time, 6 days and 20 hours to do whatever it does, but to hopefully close up here, right? And just leave a long wick. In that course, we can wick all the way down to I don't know where. And personally, I already say this, on Bitcoin, I'm a buyer, right? I'm a buyer here and there, small amounts, right? What I can afford. But the big thing here, to just put this in front, what I want to see is the weekly to stay above this, at least the monthly, right? So the month has more times, but the weekly I would also like to see stay above this. As the last chance, staying above this high. Otherwise, if we take out these highs here, this area, then it's really, really bad. And probably also the TSI on the monthly would coincide with that. Right now, threatening a bear cross, right? So this is really the last chance from that indicator perspective to hold the bull market, right? So if we were to close like this, there's only one other month to recover, right? So we will definitely have our answer until, or not definitely, but very likely until May, right? Hey Adam, what's going on? Good to see you as well. Jonas, good morning to you. It's good to see all the rare hodlers here in the house, guys. Don't forget to smash up the like button. So what is happening? The free fall continues. Today's drop in the stock market, US stock market futures, puts S&P 500 futures down 22% in bear market territory. That is big, brutal, and it's also buying opportunity or a start to DCA opportunity if you have funds left over into stuff like the crypto market, into stuff like the stock market, right? If there is a stock or something that you always wanted to have. Oh, by the way, Rooster is back. He just is now called Inside Man, but it's Rooster. Told you guys everything is going downhill until 2-day correction. I told you about the 8th, always with one correction, of course. Forgot to say that, my bad. Okay. Until the 16th with 1 or 2 days correction. Okay, gotcha. We are going to observe this. Okay, but is it time to buy stocks yet? I don't know. For me, it's like DCA. But one more time. We need to play this again.
Win so much, you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win.
Please, Mr. President, stop winning. Let's stop winning. This is the question. Yeah, and this is also good, Bernard. This is also a good question, right? Are we headed for a great financial reset? A good question. We are going to shed some light on this. We will not be able to finally determine, because I mean, even if it seems that everything's under control with tariff negotiations, everything can spiral out of control with a black swan in any ways, right? Let's just add a black swan on this, and then we will see. But we are not there yet. So yeah, everybody is tired of winning, absolutely. So looking at the headlines today, we see that Asia is deep in the red. Like Asia is absolutely scared. Right. So here, -4, -6%, -11%. Shanghai -7%. European will open in an hour or so, in half an hour. But it also looks like the pre-markets, they are all red, so it looks like everything will open red one more time. We don't know yet, but more importantly, it's interesting to also see what's been written. So here we see, for example, Bill Ackman, Trump is losing the confidence of business leaders, billionaire investors, or of the billionaire investor here. He says, China stocks lead sell-off in Asia-Pacific market as trade war worries fuel risk of sentiment. So from this headline, we can derive what needs to happen. It's a clear signal that there is no trade war, that the other countries come to the table, right? That actually is already happening, right? So Dow futures 900 points down as the market collapse worsens. Bitcoin drops Sunday evening as cryptocurrency during global market rout. So before, crypto had been stable, but now it's also going down. And the key term here is risk of sentiment, right? Risk of sentiment. So in the playbook of all the Wall Street guys that we have here, the current situation says, hey, mitigate risk and sell off risk stuff. probably this is going to lead, maybe this is going to lead for more gold, right? More gold rally and so on. Rooster or Inside Man says, guys, don't panic. As you know, every big crash, the bull run is coming. Absolutely. Game over, game over, game over. Okay, let's see if that is really the case. So first of all, let's listen to some voices here.
I got a report from the USTR last night that more than 50 countries have reached out to the president to begin a negotiation. But they're doing that because they understand that they bear a lot of the tariff. And so I don't think that you're going to see a big effect on the consumer in the U.S. because I do think that the reason why we have a persistent long-run trade deficit is these people have very inelastic supply. They've been dumping goods into the country in order to create jobs, say, in China. I got a report from the USTR.
Okay, so this is good, right? I mean, over 50 countries coming to the table, and basically here we have India, Israel, Vietnam, Cambodia, and so on and so on. They all want to go for zero tariffs. So in the end, if that happens, right, zero tariffs on all the sides, then this actually might be the great boom or turnaround. But let's see, let's be cautious, because also we have this here from the man himself on the EU.
Europe's treated us very badly. We put a big tariff on Europe. They are coming to the table. They want to talk, but there's no talk unless they pay us a lot of money on a yearly basis. Number one for present, but also for past, because they've taken a lot of our wealth away, and we're not going to allow it to happen. Europe's treated us very...
Okay, so this sounds that even if Europe goes to the table, it's going to be very, very costly. Unfortunately, this video has a super low sound, and I'm already at the maximum, so sorry for that. But basically, he says, hey, Europe owes us money from the past, and so on. I don't know how the situation will open up with Europe, but a couple of days ago, Elon Musk also said that he would wish for a 0% trade zone or free trade zone between Europe and the US, which actually would be crazily good, right? So imagine that you really have like something like an extended union between the US and the European zone, where also working capital can easier shift, right? Where workers can move freely. This would be really, really crazy, right? But yeah, the shakeout is crazy. Now the question is, like, let's say with a cautious eye, let's just keep this in the back of our head. We've done this mass tariff thing 3 times in American history. 1828, 1930, 2025, all spaced out about roughly 100 years apart, because everyone who remembers the last one needs to be dead for the next one to happen. The last 2 caused depressions, right? This one will totally make us rich, though. Of course, the sarcasm, the irony with this time is going to be different. So let's keep that in the back of our head. The question is, I mean, you could phrase it with the words of President Biden and say, hey, the tariffs are only transitory, right? And then let's see what happens here, right? But yes, for me, in either way, right? If it's a worldwide depression, then we're all fucked anyways, right? But if it's not, then probably this is the chance to slowly to buy the dip and DCA and to lower prices, because I mean, you see, for example, you get, even if you're looking at stocks and not at crypto, right, you get suddenly prices that you have not seen years ago or a year ago, right? Or if it drops even more, like, for example, world ETFs, high dividend yield or whatever, right? Stuff that creeps up over years, suddenly going back and giving you prices from a year or 2 ago, that's pretty good in my opinion, right? But also, like, for me, there's no other asset than Bitcoin, or just like as Bitcoin, and because the CAGR is so high, because it's really hedged against inflation. Now, what's coming next is this year, right? Tighten your seatbelt. Oh, sorry, that was a little bit. Let's put the sound away here. But that's basically coming next, right? At least that's what we are anticipating. And then, if that is the case, then it's going to be an insane boom, right? So question is, how much much capital is left to buy the dip after 5 dips that we have been buying already, right? So yeah, that is that. JW says, good morning. What do you think about VeChain now? We don't have a higher low anymore. Right. That so all the altcoins, not only VeChain, but all or most of the altcoins, they don't look really good right now. So let's see. To be honest, we can look at it in a second or after this, but I'm going to go through this and then we can look at the altcoins. So the Fed emergency rate cut 2025 is now suddenly going up to 26%. So this could be coming still this month, that there's an emergency meeting and they're gonna cut because of the crash, right? And this is exactly this is the big question. When you guys remember a couple of months, we looked back at the cuts and saw that many people said after pauses there are extra cuts, and then the market crashes. And we said back then that that's probably not true. It's probably the market crashes and then the extra cuts are coming because the pause was too long, right? And also Trump already said like, hey, now is a good time to cut, blah, 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 right? But so let's see if the Fed is going to put together an emergency meeting and cut the rates. We will see, right? Okay, so let's look at this as well, because there's now a JP Morgan hedge fund manager here talking about the rate cuts.
The global head of fixed income at JP Morgan Asset Management writing this: both the administration and Federal Reserve are behaving as though the market moves are business as usual. We cannot believe that the Fed will wait until something breaks before responding. Bob joins us now for more. Bob, good evening.
Happy to be here.
GFC.com, the pandemic. Frame this moment. What is this for you and the team?
Well, I was reading Larry Summers earlier, who pointed out that Thursday and Friday were back-to-back the worst market drops, except in 3 other instances: the '87 stock market crash, 2008 the financial crisis, and then 2020 COVID. So this is a historic period, and as you point out, we're down another 5%. I would tell you, in the other 3 instances, the Fed stepped in immediately and cut rates sizably. So I think for now, if you go back to Friday, the Fed can talk tough. They have to be looking at this. I don't know if they can even make it to the May meeting before they start bringing rates down.
At the same time, nothing seems to have broken yet. It doesn't seem like things have gotten disorderly yet, despite the margin calls. And there is a real concern about inflation picking back up. How much can you really reject what Jay Powell said on Friday?
Well, you have to reject something he said over the last few years. Remember, they talked about the long and variable lags. So now they're saying they're going to wait for the accident before they respond and then wait for the long and variable lags to take hold. I don't think so. I think if you step back and look at the totality of what's going on, you cannot believe that there's nothing under the surface that's going to break. We already know that businesses in the lower rated end of the quality spectrum have been struggling. When you look at private credit and look at the percentage of amend and extends, it's very high. What happens when their cost of funding just ratcheted up another couple percent and they're going to see top line growth come down as well as their input costs go up? I think this is a serious moment. I do not think the Fed can just sit on the side.
If you do believe.
Okay, so this is very, very true, right? So if this crash continues, and it looks like it will until this issue is resolved, the Fed is very likely to go and step in and mass cut rates, right? Bring the rates down sharply, basically to refinance. To bring down the rate to almost to next to zero, to refuel the energy, to resupply the energy into the economy, right? So that is true. I saw this one. This was really good. Buy when there's blood in the streets. So you're buying right now, right? So we know that Buffett is sitting on the cash pile, and it's going to be interesting because everyone was like, "Oh, Buffett is piling up cash and cash and cash. Like, he was piling up cash throughout 2024, and everyone was like, why? Because the party just continued. But I don't know if Buffett either knew that Trump would win, and then with Trump there's going to be tariffs, or what exactly his indicators were. But his own indicator, the Buffett indicator, showed massive stock market overvaluation in the past weeks of 200%, which if he believes in his own indicator, then that absolutely makes sense, right? So the question is, when will he allocate? When will he buy, right? So that is the big question. And then we have another one here, Scott Bessent. Let's listen to this as well.
I'm not happy with what's going on in the market today, but the distribution of equities across households, the top 10% of Americans own 88% of equities, 88% of the stock market. The next 40% owns 12% of the stock market. The bottom 50 has debt. They have credit card bills, they rent their homes, they have auto loans, and we've got to give them some relief. That I was struck by the statistic from last year.
That's the message right there. Just as a bystander, I'm like, wow, okay.
All right. Or that, I like the examples, and I was really struck by two different statistics last year. Summer of 2024, Americans took more European vacations than they had in history. Summer of 2024, more Americans were using food banks than they ever have in history. I went into two food banks near my hometown to ask, what's the story? And they said, it really takes, for a lot of people, it's a loss of dignity to walk in a food bank.
Of course.
But they were seeing a new phenomenon, that it wasn't their traditional clientele. It wasn't people who'd lost their homes. It wasn't people out on the street. These were working families who could no longer, $100 at the grocery store, that basket of groceries every week, they were missing 5, 6, 7 things, and they were coming to the food bank to top up. So, that's not a great America. Record European vacation, record food banks. And, no reason we can't keep the record European vacations going, but we got to take care of these other people. And you know what? That they don't want handouts. The Democrats had this strategy called compensate the loser. So first of all, the name of that strategy, I don't think the bottom 50% of Americans are losers. I think the system hasn't worked for them. I think that they are winners. It's just a bad system. So we are going to fix the system. And look.
So, I mean, it's very clear what the path here is, right? So what we see is that, can a system really run on half the population being indebted so that they cannot really go over their daily business anymore, like $100 per month in groceries or something like that? That's absolutely nuts, right? So the approach here is to go by, basically it's a capitalist approach to bring the rest of the populace back into a territory where they can manage their credit, pay off their credit, and that the work that they are putting in pays off again enough so that they can get stuff from the store, that the groceries and so on, right? So what needs to happen for that is interest rates need to go lower. Otherwise, and in the US it's very common, correct me if I'm wrong if you're here from the US, but I think that's the situation, that many interest rates are not fixed. So with the skyrocketing interest rate from the Fed and the pause at a fairly high level, many people get wrecked on their massive loans, and taking out loans is also more common even than in many European countries, and the size of the loans as well, and the culture to finance everything, right? So that all is very, very bad, right? So the question now is, how fast will be the reaction, right? How fast will be the reaction to to save our pockets, right? And let's quickly see the altcoins here, right? So when you're asking here, for example, JW asking specifically about VeChain, look at the entire market. I mean, everything gets wrecked big time, right? We had one meme run, we had a little bit of altcoins up, but so far everything gets wrecked big time, right? I mean, you can, I don't know, take Blur, for example. Blur's NFT marketplace or so, right? Click here on TradingView. Let's see here if there's a better chart, or that's already Binance. There we go. Yeah, so, I mean, this is not an... I mean, this is not, like, this chart is a downtrend, right? So this is one altcoin, right? Let's look at actually the bigger ones here. ADA, for example, maybe they're looking a bit better. Yeah, ADA is looking better because ADA still is in an uptrend, right? I mean, it's probably coming lower again, but ADA is still in an uptrend. If you were to, okay, so this level is lost, but if you were to look at this, right, there's plenty of room, right? So ADA's one from the list. Casper we had here from Mr. Insight Man. Okay, so Casper also, I mean, Casper is probably threatening to lose bigger support, right? But it didn't yet here. But those are the ones, right? But then you look at, for example, VeChain, right? That would, so actually the question is here on this level, right? On these levels, this week, if this closes anywhere in the red, then yes, then you lost support, right? Then you lost the support. You're technically also not in an uptrend anymore, because that is the trend, basically. This is the trend. So you would have lost trend at this time, right? So yeah, and some altcoins, they display this, some don't, right? Solana also is probably one of the ones that doesn't enter a downtrend. Let's see. Yes, Solana, close. I mean, it's not a downtrend either way, right? Because you would go like this, but it's losing big support, right? At the moment, which would have been on this, right? So the first line of defense, I would say, for Solana is not, let's say it's not ideal, right? I'm making this different color so that this doesn't look like a wedge or something like that, right? Yeah. Hey, Trucking Hank, late to the party but still made it. That's good. I've been holding, says Bernard, since 2021. I will not sell. Yeah. So the question is, like, is the altcoin market in general, is it in a good shape or not, right? And that's more to what you can find out on Total 2, Total 3, and the others chart. And Total 2, look at this. We had drawn this this trend line here in, right? Let's put it this way. We have lost support already longer time ago, right? On this trend, at least, right? If you would want to call it like this. So something's going on here, right? Total 3 will look even worse, because, or actually will it? I don't know, but I mean, everything has Ethereum in it, right? Oh, actually, this here is still on point with the prediction, but also here, I think, let's put, yeah, also here, trend loss, right? Trend loss. This could still become a fake out if this candle turns into the green, but Total 3 also trend loss, right? Others, trend loss. And you remember, we said before that the others dominance, remember when we were looking at altcoin dominance, like others dominance, that we are losing this level, and that we will observe whether this level holds or not. This is the first time since 2017 that the altcoins collectively underperform the rest of the crypto market, like the outside the top 10 in this manner, right? You have a dropout and a bearish retest. I mean, look at how many touch points you have to validate this. You have some wicks out, but you never had this, right? So this is bearish, extremely bearish for altcoins, right? That this happens, right? How does it look on the monthly? Let's see. Yeah, clear breakdown, right? Clear breakdown from the somewhat rising channel. Now the question is what's happening now, right? But that is all the altcoins except the top 10, right? So that is a clear breakdown. What else can we look at? Yeah, so that was the others. What else can we look at? Let's see. Bitcoin dominance probably going up still. DXY is dropping. This is positive, right? So technically this is positive. DXY going lower is usually good for risk on assets. Question is, when will this effect kick in? Gold taking a breather. Bitcoin taking more breather, right? I mean, what the heck? Bitcoin should rally here at some point, right? So I think it's still coming. Technically, so personally, from all the fundamentals here, it should still come, right? The question is when. So when is the Fed emergency meeting? When is the GMI? All these charts here that are leading this. Wait a second. We'll have our oracle in a second, but let's see. Just Julian Bittel. This should be the guy. This is the guy. Here, right? Look at this. So that we have a drop off here could even be possible regarding this correlation. But here we have the Bitcoin 3 month-over-month percentage change, right? So this is how much Bitcoin fluctuates in a 3 monthly, right? GMI Financial Condition Index is the other one. Like the GMI, the Financial Conditions Index, 3 months lead. Look at this. The correlation is insane. Like it's very tight, very close. Bam, it crashed. Bitcoin's month-over-month change also crash, right? Crash maybe into this. After this, bam, mega rise, okay? So, is this... yeah, so... does it feel like this right now? No, absolutely doesn't, right? By the way, 25 people here. We had even 33 people here a second ago. So make sure to smash up the like button if you haven't yet, if you enjoy these insights on a morning basis, right? Let's see. Okay, Insight Man wants to drop some alpha on it. I get it. If you lost money, it's sad. It really is. But now is the time to really make money. I'll say wait for 2 to 4 days to watch. Nice chart. Yeah. So the Green Lantern says, GM, fellow pain lovers. I'm so tired. Time capitulation plus tariffs are really freaking bad. Absolutely, man. I mean, it sucks. Like this is, I actually did not think that that we are so close to all of this, or that we will experience this pain at this point in time. I thought that we are going to have the biggest party, like the biggest altcoin party right now, right? So what do we get now? Big crash in April, directly into sell in May, go away. Oh my God, that would suck so hard. But even then, we're not giving up. We are not giving up. We are just going to to do it until we make it, right? Cut rate on the 9th of April, and then Insight Man says, I think I'm gonna do it much earlier. I will reveal the person on the 20th of April. Wow, on the 420. Okay, let's see. So 20th of April. Let me check the calendar. That's That's a Sunday, so I'm going to... you know what? Wait a second. Oh, that's really bad. Don't do it on Sunday. Don't do it on Sunday. Do it either earlier or later, because the problem is that's Easter. I will be traveling. I will be spending time with family. How will you reveal that if I'm not live, right? So it needs to be on another day. Inside Man says no, 16 or 19 bull run will begin. Why this? So the 19 would be really bad because the 19th is a Saturday, which would then mean that the massive CME gap is opening then if the pump starts on the 19th. The 16th though would be convenient because it's a Wednesday. Okay, no problem. If you see you live, I'll do it. That's great. So I'll try to be as live as much as possible this week. Also to cover what's happening here, we will see. But yeah, so altcoins, big, fat, deep in the gutter. Here we see it also. By the way, how is Render doing? By the way, I should have taken more profit on Render. I only took my initial investment. I should have taken more profit. Renderoo. Where is it? Oh, okay. So, yeah, I don't know. Also here, right? I mean, this is a downtrend, right? This is, yeah. I mean, Render has more chart than this. I don't know why this is looking like this. But in any case, like it lost major support. It's also a story for Render, right? And you see it like everything's down 20% again, right? Again, look at the monthly. Everything's down between 20 and 50% even. You see like Algo 33, Graph 30, ADA 33. So it's really like if you believe in a bull run, like Inside Man says, if you believe in the continuation of the bull run, this is our time. Then this is our time. Injective 40% discount, right? Link 30% discount, and so on. Like then we really have to see in discounts, right? There are some coins that are positive on the year, but on the month also fart coins and stuff like that. But if you see here also, like we're down. Look at this, down 20% on the month. Here 12. I don't know why. Probably one coin pumped like so crazy that this bracket is above. 25, 20, 22, 25, everything's down, like basically a fourth of your portfolio gone, evaporated in 1 month. Crazy, right? This month, the bull run will happen 100%. So mark his words, and let's see. I mean, I can see why. I mean, I've laid out the fundamentals here. So let's say again what is happening on the fundamental side. Let's recap this quickly, right? So 50 nations plus coming to the table to negotiate a 0% free trade zone. Probably the Fed, if the crash continues, probably the Fed is going to do emergency cuts down quickly. The question is what happens then, but it can lead to a shorter term big Fed rally, right? So all of that is in the cards. Plus the big money injection that we have been talking about, right? So the $7 trillion maturing. The market is crashing, means bonds go up, means bond yields go down. If bond yields go down, then they can refinance this whole 7 trillion that is maturing right now way easier and accomplish already that milestone, right? Way cheaper. So is that all happening? I don't know, but I think so. Right, so I will go cautiously with Inside Man here, cautiously, and say, hey, there is still a chance for this bull run to continue. And if it does, it will be sooner than later, right? Because if it's later, then all the bear market indicators would be flashing then, right? I mean, we are very close to a bear cross on the TSI. Let's not forget that. But now we have ourselves a really deep correction, 30% here from the absolute top, which is normal in crypto bull runs even. We are sitting at 76,700, so we have a loss another $200 here on the. Since we're streaming, right? I mean, what the heck? Like Bitcoin is really falling off a cliff right now. What's the next milestone? Inflation rate year over year on the 10th of April. If this comes, is forecasted at 2.6. Previous was 2.8. If this comes in 2.6 or lower, then probably or very likely they're going to cut immediately, right? Inflation rate month over month coming in, core inflation rate as well, 3.1, forecast is 3. If this comes in 3 or lower, the cutting is happening as well. So I would say this is one thing, and then then we'll see. So the 10th of April is the next milestone here where the Fed might do something. Until then, probably we are going to enjoy the red prices. Now, one thing that we need to play in the end, right? You know it, guys, but when we have big red days, then we need to play it. So we should have listened to this guy.
Fuck crypto. You don't need the anxiety. Before you bought the bullshit fantasy coin, your life was good. But then you made some money and became greedy. Now the bullshit coin is fucked, and nobody can tell you when it is going to be unfucked. Even the motherfucker who convinced you to buy the bullshit coin, who told you that it is going to be the next big thing, that motherfucker is nowhere to be found. You are on your own, and all you can do is cry about it in the shower and hope and believe that your bullshit coin will go up in price again, so that you can sell it and make some money and buy some more and then get fucked all over again. That is crypto.
It's just amazing. This guy is amazing. I love this video so much. But yeah, I mean, he has a point. Actually, the only one that is going nuts here and still atomic bullish is Inside Man. I really love the spirit Inside Man, so let's go. But yeah, this video is very relevant from time to time to just bring us back to earth, right? So guys, make sure to smash up the like button if you enjoy all of this. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Notifications on. I know this is a wild situation right now. We will see how it turns out. More live streams, more videos. I'm not traveling this week, at least not as much, not as far. So there will be a lot of live streams, a lot of for us to catch up. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And now, wherever you are on the world, have this great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I catch you in the next video or live stream. Have a good one, everyone, and bye.